Barbecue weather is here in the UK. Barbecue weather will soon be here in the UK, which means we're gonna need some burgers. Now, you could go with buying them from the supermarket, and that's fine if you don't mind burgers that contain bread, binding agents, and all kinds of additives. But a discerning foodie such as yourself is gonna want to know exactly what's in their burgers. So today, we'll whip up some super quick 3, well, optionally 4 ingredient burgers that'll be the star of the show when the rain finally stops. And I'll share with you my quick go-to pickle relish that'll have the neighbours peering over the fence to see if you have any to spare. The weather's going to break any minute, folks, so let's get into it. To get started today, I've got half a kilo or just over a pound of good quality minced steak. This is 15% fat, which is the absolute minimum you'll want for this recipe. 20% fat will work well too, but they'll shrink a little bit more when cooking. Supermarket meat will work fine here, but for best results, tell your local butcher you're making burgers and he'll set you up with the best minced cut that he's got. To this, I'll add a good grip or about 10 grams of salt. Just the fine stuff, don't go with anything fancy, and I'll follow that with a few good twists of black pepper. Don't be shy, we're seasoning 4 good sized burgers here. Now this is totally optional, but I like to add a pinch of garlic granules at this point. Not too much, we don't want to overpower the burgery goodness, but a little will elevate the other flavours in our final product. Once that's in, I'll go in with my hands and lightly toss everything around to ensure the seasonings are evenly spread throughout the meat, working quite quickly to stop things warming up too much. Next, I'll divide the meat evenly into 4. You can do this by eye, there's no real need to weigh it, but you can if you like. And then I'll take each piece and form it into a ball, squeeze in slightly to make sure there's no trapped air. Then I'll press it down in a sheet of plastic wrap until it reaches my desired thickness. Now, side note here, I like my burgers pretty thin. I don't really get the super thick burger trend. If I wanted a hunk of densely packed meat, I'd cook a steak. For my money, thin burgers are the way to go. It's much easier to find a balance of burger to accompaniments. And if I do want more meat, I can just load 2 patties on, giving me double the beautifully brown surface area compared to a single thick burger. Anyway, you do you, make these as thick as you fancy, and then use a fork to dock them all over to prevent steam from thickening these and possibly exploding them while they cook. Just rinse and repeat that process for the remaining 3 burgers, wrapping each one individually in the plastic as you go, and then pop them in the fridge to chill out for a bit. Now you're probably saying, hey Ross, shouldn't there be an egg in those? And to that I say no, never, absolutely not. We're after delicious meaty burgers here, not some kind of weird minced beef omelette. The salt we added will work together with the fat to bind these burgers. Once they've had half an hour or so in the fridge, they'll have just as much structural integrity as any egg-bound abomination without feeling like you're eating rubber bullets. Anyway, while those chill out in the fridge, let's throw together some of my quick pickle relish. So for that, I'll start by chopping 3 medium-sized pickled gherkins. Pickled cucumbers work too. They're basically the same thing, though if you're overseas, then what I call a cucumber might be different to what you call a cucumber. Next, I'll de-seed, optional, and finally chop a medium chilli and throw that into the bowl. To that, I'll add half a teaspoon of caster sugar and a good pinch of onion salt. We can adjust this to taste later. Next, I'll squeeze in a good amount, maybe a tablespoon, of American mustard, the kind that kids have on hot dogs. English mustard is too hot for this and doesn't have that bitter undertone that makes it work. I'll give that a quick stir to see how it looks, and then I'll add in just enough mayo to get it to a burger sauce consistency. This is perfect. Now this next part is totally optional, but it's definitely worth it. I'll add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG. A little goes a long way, and this will dial up all the other flavours in the relish to 11. Totally aware you might not have MSG lying around, but if you want to get some, and I do recommend it, it's useful for tons of other dishes and keeps basically forever. I'll leave a link down in the description. So once that's done, I'll mix this all up, give it a quick taste and adjust anything as needed. This one's fine. Then I'll just cover it and pop it in the fridge to chill out until I'm ready to assemble my burgers. In an ideal world, I would cook these burgers on the barbecue, but the weather being what it is today, that's not really an option, so I'm just using my cast iron. I've added a squeeze of high smoke point neutral oil, which I'll just get good and hot over a high heat, and then I'll add in the burgers. The move is to just leave them alone and get a good colour on the first side before turning them over, and then repeating that for the second side. Toward the end of cooking, I'll top them with a little cheese. I like a mature English cheddar myself, but go with whatever you fancy. American cheese is a bit of a classic, or something like Monterey Jack. That'll just begin to melt in the pan. It'll melt some more while the burgers rest. And on that note, these are looking done, so I'll pull them off onto a plate to rest for a few minutes before assembling my burgers. For that, I've just got some brioche buns that I've split and toasted. I'll add a good spoonful of my burger relish to one side. I like a little extra mayo too, that's optional. Then I'll top it with my burger and finally some optional salad of your choice. I'm just going with some gem lettuce today, but thick cut red onion works, whatever else you like. I'm not here to tell you how to build your burgers, but do let me know in the comments what you like on yours. And that's it. Simple, delicious, homemade burgers. You can make whatever the weather. Do be sure to give these a try.